What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Sunday, September 29th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 16:40 Eastern Time here in the United States, and I wanted to update you guys on the situation in the Middle East. It does appear that we are just hours or days away from a major war in the Middle East. Last night, Israel started their ground invasion into Lebanon. Various sources reported to ABC News last night, these are American sources, that limited numbers of Israeli forces crossed into Lebanon late last night in various locations, okay? So Israel has basically already sent in their reconnaissance forces, and then the main element is going to be coming in very soon to Lebanon, okay? And Israel's goal is going to be to clear out all of southern Lebanon of Hezbollah fighters, which the UN is responsible for doing and has not done, okay? Israel signed a treaty with Lebanon and Hezbollah and the UN, and there's a resolution about this. UN peacekeepers are supposed to be patrolling southern Lebanon and preventing Hezbollah from attacking Israel, and they've been doing that for the last year. Israel has warned repeatedly that if it continues, they're going to have to go in on the ground, and that's what they're doing, okay? Over the last 2 weeks, Israel has basically dismantled most of Hezbollah. There's really nothing left to Hezbollah. They've destroyed most of their missiles and weapons depots and rocket launchers. They've taken out all their senior leadership, including Nasrallah, the leader. And now they just got to go in on the ground and clear everything out and make sure that whole southern part of Lebanon is cleared out. So this way people in northern Israel can return to their homes, because ever since October 7, thousands and thousands of Israelis had to move out of northern Israel because of Hezbollah constantly pounding northern Israel with artillery. So that would be like the equivalent of Mexico launching rockets into Corpus Christi or southern Texas every single day, dozens of times a day for an entire year. And all the people from Corpus Christi having to move out into Dallas or somewhere else out of artillery range. Do you think we would tolerate that? I don't think so. But we've asked Israel to tolerate that for over a year. And our government, the Biden administration, has tried to push Israel into peace treaties, okay, which is just despicable and disgusting, okay? Now, what you're looking at here is some fresh video footage that was released by the Israeli military showing F-15I fighter jets that were involved in the strikes on Hezbollah's Central Command bunker in Beirut that killed Nasrallah and a bunch of top Hezbollah leaders, including the head of the Iranian Quds Force. So these are the actual fighter jets that were involved in this historic strike on Hezbollah. The Israeli Defense Forces said it carried out a large-scale air operation against military targets belonging to the Houthis in Yemen on Sunday. Yemen's state news agency said 4 people have been killed and 49 injured. The IDF blamed Iranian transfers of weapons, supplies, and oil to the Houthis and said the attack was in response to the recent attacks by the Houthis against Israel. The IDF Chief of Staff Herzi Halevi said of the strikes, quote, "This is not a message, it is an action that carries a message with it." Apparently, the strike was coordinated with the United States, but was only an Israeli operation, a senior Israeli source told ABC News. Okay, so Israel launching massive strikes on the Houthis in Yemen this morning. Okay, Israel is done playing games. Okay, they've been attacked by Iran. They've been attacked by the Houthis. They've been attacked by Hezbollah. They've been attacked by Hamas. And throughout all of that, and they've also been attacked by the Iraqi proxies in Iraq, the Iranian proxies. And throughout all of that, our government, our Biden administration here in the U.S., was trying to push Israel into a peace treaty, basically to capitulate and tell all these scumbags attacking them that, yeah, it's okay, you can attack us, and we're not going to do anything back. Israel is sick of it, and they're finally retaliating appropriately, okay? And I do believe that Iran is next, okay? What you're seeing here is Israel slowly and methodically dismantling this axis of resistance, as the Muslim extremists call it in the Middle East. But they're going after different parts of this evil axis that's led by Iran. Okay, they started with Hamas. Now they're dealing with Hezbollah. They're probably going to finish dealing with the Houthis soon. Then they're going to maybe go after the proxies in Iraq and Syria. Okay, they launched more strikes on Syria today as well. Massive strikes on Syria, which I'm going to get to in a minute. And once they deal with all those proxy forces of Iran, once they neutralize them all, then they can go after the head of the snake, which is Iran itself, the Iranian government, the Iranian missile program, the Iranian nuclear program. And I do believe that Benjamin Netanyahu has that in his sights. And I think Netanyahu wants to accomplish that before he leaves power, or before he leaves Earth, or before he retires, because he's not getting any younger. Okay, Netanyahu's in his 70s already, and he knows that dealing with Iran is so important for the long-term security of Israel, and he wants to be the guy to neutralize Iran as a threat, especially because Iran has started to spin up their nuclear facilities, and they're enriching weapons-grade uranium now. Okay, they're on the verge, or they may already have nuclear weapons. Okay, Israel's not going to wait around until Iran becomes like North Korea. Okay, they're not going to wait for that. They're going to deal with this before that happens. I can guarantee you that. Never underestimate Israel. That's what people have continuously done. They didn't think Israel would go into Gaza. They didn't think Israel would deal with Hezbollah. And look what they've done, okay? And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a discount on their 1-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. This is a 1-month freeze-dried food supply. It has a 25-year shelf life. Normal price is $237. They've dropped it down to $177. So that's a savings of $60. And it's all packed within 2 rugged, water-resistant buckets. Free shipping is included. $177 for 1 month of food. Where are you going to find a deal like that? So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $60 off the My Patriot Supply 1-month emergency food supply. And the U.S. Embassy staff in Lebanon has been ordered to leave immediately. The U.S. State Department tonight offered assistance to U.S. citizens looking to leave Lebanon, warning that citizens who remain in Lebanon should be ready to shelter in place for an extended period of time. Okay, so the U.S. Embassy evacuating its staff, U.S. State Department telling citizens to leave, offering assistance. That is not a good sign. And the Israeli defense minister said he was organizing a meeting with the military today regarding expanding military operations in Lebanon. The Iranian president, Masoud Pezeshkian, threatened Israel today. He said, quote, "The United States and Europe claimed that a ceasefire in Gaza would be reached if Iran delayed the response to Ismail Haniyeh's assassination. They lied." So basically, Iran is saying, you know, we withheld our response to the Haniyeh assassination because you said there would be ceasefire. So now there's no ceasefire. Netanyahu rejected the ceasefire. So now we're going to strike Israel. And the leader of Iran, the Ayatollah Khamenei, is reportedly in a secure location now. And he already met with his National Security Council a few days ago, literally just a few hours after Nasrallah was taken out. He met with his National Security Council. So Iran is already prepared. And two Israeli officials told ABC News that if Iran strikes Israel again, quote, they'll be hit harder than they can imagine. Wow. And U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has issued orders that will move more military aircraft to the Middle East and will put U.S. troops on a heightened readiness to deploy to the region. Most of them would move from bases in Europe to the Middle East. And remember, a couple of days ago, there were thousands of 101st Airborne moved to Germany and the Middle East. And the Israeli Defense Forces said they struck 120 Hezbollah targets in Lebanon on Sunday. And apparently Hezbollah leadership, whatever's left of it, or the new leadership, held an emergency meeting today. And last night, the security perimeter around the U.S. Embassy in Iraq in the Green Zone in Baghdad was breached by protesters, which is pretty insane because the security there is really tight. So for them to have done that is pretty serious. And there were massive Israeli airstrikes on Syria today in the area of Homs. And Iran's Shura Council will submit proposals to the Iranian Supreme National Security Council to discuss possible responses to the actions of Israel. Multiple scenarios are currently being reviewed for retaliation. So it's very likely that Iran is going to respond somehow. And a report in the French newspaper Le Parisien said the assassination of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah was made possible thanks to sensitive information provided by an Iranian mole who passed on to Israel the details of Nasrallah's imminent arrival at its headquarters in southern Beirut. Wow. So they had a mole, a spy, right next to Nasrallah. Very, very cool. And Hezbollah's command and control is in complete disarray after the killing of their leader Hassan Nasrallah in an Israeli airstrike on Friday, according to a senior U.S. official. So total disarray. And the foreign minister of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, had some really nasty things to say about Israel. And this just further proves that Russia is part of the Ezekiel 38-39 alliance that tries to attack Israel, and that Russia is Magog. So he said, quote, the Western world is trying to drag Iran into the Middle East crisis to provoke a major war in the region. He said that the Israeli attacks on Lebanon were inhuman and that the assassination of Nasrallah was a terrorist act. Wow. And a Syrian migrant chased passers-by in Essen, Germany with a machete. He set houses on fire and injured 31 people. Wow. And last night, Ukraine conducted a massive strike in Russia. They targeted multiple locations using at least 120 long-range suicide drones. That is just absolutely insane. I want to just show you guys what's going on here over the U.S. today. So we currently have one nuclear war command and control plane up in the air off the coast of California, and then we have a presidential doomsday plane that returned to the D.C. area from Offutt Air Base, which is where the Stratcom bunker is. Could be Biden going back to D.C., could be Lloyd Austin or some other VIP, but they were obviously in the Stratcom bunker this weekend because of everything going on with Nasrallah and everything going on over there. So our nuclear forces are still on very high alert. It is a Sunday, so they usually have reduced patrolling on Sundays. And we have a P-8 Poseidon sub-hunter that was off the coast of Lebanon this afternoon. You can see it was making multiple loops here right off the coast of Lebanon. And the armed forces of the U.S., Japan, the Philippines, Australia, and New Zealand held a joint maritime exercise in the South China Sea for the first time ever yesterday. Look at all of these warships, guys. Massive amount of warships, massive show of force to our enemies. I want to remind you guys that China tested an ICBM off the coast of Taiwan this past week for the first time since 1980. Okay, they have not tested an ICBM since 1980. Okay, and what's really weird too is we haven't really been seeing Xi Jinping making any public appearances or traveling anywhere for several months now, since probably July. So I'm just wondering if Xi Jinping has some health issues and he's laying low. I don't know, or maybe something's about to go down and he's avoiding the public spotlight because war is about to break out. I don't know. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I might be back later on tonight with more breaking news. So until then, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.